Hello friends, welcome back to EduTap Himachal Pradesh Administrative Services. In this session, we are going to deal with the topic that is unemployment. So the entire chapter is dealt in two parts, that is the part 1 and the part 2. In this session, we are going to look at the part 1 where we will be going through the basics of unemployment, that is the definition and looking at the different types of unemployment. Then in the next session, we will be looking at what is the status of unemployment in India and the different measures, various ways through which we will measure the unemployment. So friends, let's now proceed ahead with this session. So before proceeding ahead, we need to understand first of all why we need to study this topic. So it is not just, understanding why is not just confined to academics, but whatever endeavor you are pursuing in your life. First, you have to have a clarity why you are doing or pursuing such activity. So in this particular session, that is unemployment, we are going to study unemployment because there was a question that was asked in the Himachal Pradesh Administrative Service prelims examination of 2019, and the question was disguised unemployment means, and the four options were given. So after studying this chapter, we will be able to answer this question. So having understood the relevance or the reason why we are proceeding ahead with this session, now let's try to understand unemployment. So before proceeding ahead, we need to get the reason or the context in which we are talking. So as we all know, in 1991, the government of India had come up with LPG reforms, that is the liberalization, privatization and the globalization reforms. So which led to the boom in IT revolution, that is information technology boom. Information technology boom. So we were witnessing that there were large-scale global companies like Google and other giant IT giants were emerging. So similar ecosystem was available within the India, and the LPG reforms only facilitated the growth of such companies. So because of this, there was a boom in engineering colleges, such as, I would like to quote a data here, in 1990, there were only 377 engineering colleges in India, but that number jumped up to 770 in 2000, and if you look at today, that is there are roughly 6,200 engineering colleges in India. So engineering emerged as an alternative, viable alternative to the regular courses such as BA, BCom and BSc. Because there was a booming IT revolution, many students switched their courses from BA, BCom regular courses to engineering, so that they saw huge prospects in pursuing engineering, and that would lead to a viable or feasible career in the coming days. Now, having understood that, let us try to understand, but that was the scenario back then in 2000s. Now, today we are seeing a very contrasting picture of what was happening in 2000. Let us try to understand this through an example. See, the example which I'm trying to quote here is not an unique or the exceptional example. It is visible every 4 out of 10 cases that we come across tend to have this story, that is underlying story is somehow related to this. So the student here is named as a Mohan. He graduated from 2013 to he undertook a engineering course in a Rajasthan college for the 4 years, that is from 2013 to 17. Then after his graduation, there was no company recruitment that took place at his college, because there were no companies that had gone to the campus and conducted a recruitment test, so he did not find any job opportunity. And as a result of which, because of his deprived or because of his tough situations, he was in desperate need for a job. Now, as a result of which, what happened, he started to work as a coolie in the railway station. So this is the reason, that is the kind of unemployment that we are witnessing in India. There is a report that is recently released by National NSSO, that is National Statistical Survey Organization, which says that India is witnessing an all-time historic high unemployment rate, which we will be talking about in the next part of the session. So the story which I am trying to highlight through the idea which I am trying to highlight through this story is that unemployment situation is very grave in India. Now just take going back to the same story of the Mohan. He had sold his land so that he can continue with his education, but as a result of post his graduation, he was unable to find a job. So that only adds up to the misery or the difficult times he is going through now. So now, having understood that the unemployment scenario is very grave in India, and we need to understand what is unemployment and look at the complete history of unemployment. So let us now proceed ahead. So first of all, let us try to understand what is unemployment. Technically speaking, unemployment is defined as a state of affairs when in a country there are large number of able-bodied person. The key words are able-bodied person of working age who are willing to work but cannot find work at the current wage levels. So let us try to understand this definition through an example. So first of all, let us first try to understand, as per United Nations Population Fund, it has defined the working age population as 15 to 59. So any person who falls within that age criteria or age range will be within the working age group. So similarly, 0 to 14 age group criteria, age group and 59 plus, they are considered as dependent on this working age population. Just let us try to understand this example through a family, normal household that is visible across India. There is 3 generation stays in single house, that is the grandparents, parents and the kids. Here is husband and wife. So the kids who are under the age of 14, they are considered as the dependent on their parents who are working, and the senior citizens are also considered as dependent because they are not in a physically healthy condition to go out there and work. So now, as a result of which, let us try to understand this definition now. So it says that there are large number of able-bodied person of working age who are willing to work. If you take a example of this mother over here, that is the home worker, then a homemaker, she is not interested. That is, she is not willing to go out there and participate in the economic activities that are taking place. Just to illustrate that, who are only willing to work but cannot find work. But in the same case, if the husband wants to work and he is unable to find a work, then he is considered as an unemployed. Whereas in the same example, the housewife, that is the lady, is not considered as unemployment because she is not willing to work. This definition holds good only when one is willing to go out there and participate in the economic activities. So that is the main crux of this entire definition. And apart from that, we can draw an inference. What is this inference? That people who are not fit physically and mentally are not falling within the unemployment group. And apart from that, people who are not willing to work, just like we took the example of the mother over here. And apart from that, just when you look at a macroeconomic scale, that is at the country level, then there are a few people like sadhus who do not want to work. So even those people do not fall within the unemployment criteria. And students who are engaged in their studying, they are also not part of this unemployment definition. So now, having understood unemployment in quite detail, let us proceed ahead and understand the associated topics with this. So what is underemployment? So I would like to quote an example. You can go through the slide. There is nothing that I can read over here. Just take an example. Suppose there is some PhD holder in some subject, and because of the ecosystem that India is going through, he is not able to find any job opportunities. Then there was a news article 2 to 3 years ago that a PhD holder has applied for the job of peon. Even if he gets that job, even after getting that job, the kind of qualification that he holds and the kind of job he is doing, it is a situation of underemployment. So this is clearly signifying that he is not performing the activities at his job in accordance with the qualifications attained by him. And apart from that, similarly, the most common scenario that is visible across India is most of the engineering graduates, soon after their graduation, they are unable to find the jobs. So what do? They resort to clerical jobs, that is the group D jobs, and it is in accordance with their qualifications. In accordance with their qualification, they are doing a a far below par job, because what exactly happens at a clerical job, you just keep moving the files, but having undergone the engineering course, that is, which is very technical in nature, you can do far more better jobs than moving the files and just taking the permissions. So that is the significance of underemployment. Even this is not good for, equally bad for the prosperity of economy. So it is not just that we have to bring down the unemployment. Apart from that, we also need to address the underemployment. This is a more qualitative picture of the unemployment. So now, having understood the underemployment, let's move ahead and understand the different types of unemployment. So basically there are three types of unemployment. The first one is the frictional unemployment. So we'll try to understand what is frictional unemployment. See, if you look at the word over here, you can break it down to friction. I would like to quote an example. Frictional unemployment is when unemployed individuals look for a job. Suppose and you are working in some organization, and because of your unhealthy relationships, or because there is some friction between you and your boss at the workplace, you want to switch the job to other place. So because of that, this is also known as voluntary unemployment. What is voluntary? Voluntary is you are giving up the job on the sole discretion of yours. That is, you are not being removed from your job, you are quitting the job. That is voluntary unemployment, and this happens out of three reasons. That is, who are frictional unemployment seekers? Fresh graduates or first time seekers, that is soon after people who are pursuing their final year of graduation, even they are looking for jobs. So they also fall within this criteria of frictional unemployment. And apart from that, workers, just now I quoted that you are working in some organization, and because of some friction with your boss, you don't find it feasible to continue with that job. So now you want to switch to that job. So that is the other definition of frictional unemployment. And apart from that, the re-entrance from a career break. For example, take the examples of the women who take a break after their for their childbirth, and after that break they again enter the workforce. So they also fall within the criteria of frictional unemployment. So frictional unemployment is also known as voluntary unemployment. And what are the reasons for this? There might be dissatisfaction from the old job and skill gap, personal reasons, it can be anything. And apart from that, the main distinguishing feature of frictional unemployment is the number of jobs that are available in the economy is equivalent to number of people who have quit their job. So that is a different distinguishing feature of the frictional unemployment. Now, having understood frictional unemployment, let's proceed ahead and understand the second type of unemployment, that is structural unemployment. So what exactly is structural unemployment? I would again like to give you an example. See, post 1991, this phenomenon was witnessed within the Indian economy. So because of IT boom, most of the jobs at the banking and other administrative offices were computerized. Now the people who used to perform older jobs of accounting, say in the pen and paper mode, they were no longer required because the computers had taken over their job, and this structural change in the economy had left these people unemployed. So these people were unemployed and computer had taken over their job. So this doesn't mean that this is bad, but now the computers have taken over the job. Anyone who, these unemployed people, if they are able to acquire the new skill set that is required for operating the computer, and apart from that, by going through some training, they will be able to perform the computer jobs. So this is a change, or this change in the structure of an economy where the technological advancements have led to a new set of jobs, whereas that is old jobs have become redundant, and it has led to new set of jobs. So how is this relevant? Let us try to take an example. Because of AI, most of the jobs, it is now the notion is propagated across the media that most of the jobs will be under threat because AI, artificial intelligence, will be taking over those jobs. But it will also create new type of jobs. As we saw that the computer jobs were opened up in the previous example, similarly here also new set of jobs will be created. As an unemployed person, you just have to go through attain some skills and undergo some training so that you can overtake the new jobs. So that is the structural unemployment, essence of structural unemployment. And you can look at in this picture that pencil makers whose jobs were taken over by the machines. And apart from that, the industrial revolution that we witnessed in this 18th century or roughly around 1750s, then the large number of people or the labor was employed for the production purpose. But later some years, the machines had taken over those jobs, then making the people unemployed, but people were able to acquire new skill set and they were able to operate on those machines. So if it is making few people unemployed, it is also creating a new set of jobs. People, by acquiring skill set and undergoing certain form of training, they will be able to overtake those jobs. So that is the essence of structural unemployment. So frictional unemployment, which is also known as voluntary unemployment, and the structural unemployment, it is both comprise the natural rate of unemployment. So what is this natural rate of unemployment? See, any economy that is booming will always have this natural rate of unemployment. It means these sort of unemployment are unavoidable. These will tend to take place no matter what, because there are few people who always want to look for the better jobs, and because of technological advancements, the new there will be some structural change within the economy. So the healthy rate of natural rate of unemployment is 4 to 5% of labor force participation rate. We will be understanding this term in the next session, that is the part 2 of this video. So now this is the natural rate of unemployment. Let's proceed ahead and understand the third type of unemployment, that is the cyclical unemployment. So we know that a business cycle, that is every economy or a business goes through this cycle, that is it expands, initially it grows, attains the peak, and there is some dip within its economic activities, then there is a further dip which will lead to a depression, then it will hit the bottommost point, that is trough, then again it will recover, expand and attain the peak. So this cycle continues. So you can see that when the economy is growing, let us try to understand this through an example. When the economy is growing, it means that there is large production that is happening within the economy. Large production happening within the economy. For the large production, you need large labor force, or you need large number of people who need to be employed. Suppose there is a factory which is producing large number of biscuits. Then that in order to produce from 100 biscuit packets to 200, it needs to employ large number of people. So when the economy is growing, production will tend to happen more because the people are demanding a lot. The demand is the basic criteria from which the production, because there is a large demand for the biscuits, the production will tend to increase, and similarly the employment will increase, and employment is the major source of income. And ultimately, again, if you get suppose you are previously unemployed, now you are employed and your earning takes, for example, 20,000 per month. So now you are going out and spending in the market. So because of which the demand for the goods will be increased by you. So this is a virtuous cycle through which the growth of a country will take place. So similarly, when the economy is booming, it will lead to large set of employment creation. If the employment is high, it means unemployment is less. That is, the number of people who are unable to find job will be less. And similarly, if the economy is going through a depression, the production will decrease, the people will be fired, that is laid off, and the unemployment will be high. So this is a cyclical unemployment which is in synchronization with the growth of an economy. Now, having understood the different types of unemployment, let us look at the nature of unemployment in India. The unemployment is classified in two types, that is the urban unemployment and the rural unemployment. And within the rural unemployment, it is further classified into two types. One is the disguised unemployment. If you recall, this was the question that was asked in the HPAS prelims 2019. And the seasonal unemployment. So first let us try to understand the disguised unemployment through an example. Suppose this is a field and one farmer is working upon it, and because he is a single person, he is unable to cover the entire field. Now he thinks that in order to increase the output from this field, he needs to employ another worker. So now with the other person, they will be able to cover this much part, and still some part of the field is left incomplete or is not being put to cultivation. Hence they will employ the third person. With his contribution, now they will be covering almost 3/4 of the field, but now with the fourth person, they are able to cover the entire field. So you could see that with fourth person entering, they are now able to cultivate over the entire field. Now if the fifth person enters this field, then his contribution or productivity will be 0. In economics, the next person that is coming into production line, that is the fifth person, is marginal. Suppose I would like to quote another example. You have had 4 chocolates, then the next chocolate that you will have, the probability of you having next chocolate is a marginal. For example, the fifth chocolate that you will be having, it will be a marginal chocolate for you. Similarly, in this case, the marginal person will be the next person, that is the fifth person, and in this case, if he enters the workforce or in this field, his marginal productivity will be 0. That is the disguised unemployment. It is also known as hidden unemployment. Hidden unemployment, because there are 5 people in a family and all of them want to work in a field, and because of which their productivity will be very less. But as a result, if some people, the fifth person is able to be trained, if he is trained, then he can contribute to the economy better in other sectors, that is the service sector or the industrial sector. So we need to make sure that the disguised unemployment rate is very less. And apart from that, what is the seasonal unemployment that we witness within the rural population or the rural settings, rural places across India? So see, agriculture is a seasonal activity. That is, during the sowing, that is planting of seeds, and harvesting, there is a large requirement of labor. In between, there is no large requirement. Rather, anyone can through irrigation, better irrigation practices, it can be done, but you don't need to sit beside the plants and water every day. So only during sowing and harvesting, the major part of the workforce is required, and in between you don't need much. And there are few fields which are cultivated only for 3-4 seasons, that is 3-4 months, and rest of the time it is not cultivated. So during cultivation they are employed, but during the non-cultivation of a field they are unemployed. So that is the seasonal nature of agriculture makes the seasonal unemployment very high within the rural places. And what exactly is the urban unemployment? You can see that there are large number of educated people who are graduated but still unable to find a job, and this phenomenon is largely witnessed within the urban places, and that is the educated unemployment. As we saw in the first example, that is the Mohan example in the first slide, the same you can find that he is unemployed. So these are the different types of the unemployment that we witness within the India. And this is a homework question for you. What is disguised unemployment? I hope now you will be able to answer this question, and do answer in the comment section so that I will be able to counter this if you are right or wrong. And apart from friends, you can also write this descriptive question which will be useful for your mains. That is, what is the meaning of unemployment, and explain the different types of unemployment. So friends, for more such interesting videos on our channel, you can subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed. And that's all we have in this session. Thank you.